So one of the things we love to do on Friday is we like to have a little bit of fun because we need to laugh. Can I get an amen out there? We need to laugh. And so all of us have done something embarrassing, maybe downright dumb, or something really awkward has happened to us at work. And so if you've got a great, funny work fail, whether it was a coworker or you, and you'd like to share it with us, ask at kencoleman.com. Email us, put funny work fail in the subtitle. in the subject line. And then also on Instagram, at Ken Coleman, DM me and share it. Okay, here we go. Funny work fails. We don't have a bumper for that, do we, Joe? That's a shame. All right, so this comes in from Spencer in Indiana. He said, I was working as a dishwasher at a popular Italian restaurant, and I didn't have much downtime every shift, so I took advantage of a short 5-minute break one time to use the restroom. Everybody's starting to get a little bit nauseous right now about where this could go. Well, over the course of the next 30 minutes, I noticed people laughing at me and whispering about me as I passed them. As a dishwasher, I'm constantly restocking the cooking line with dishes, so I made about 10 or 15 trips around the restaurant, the back of the restaurant, in that 30-minute period, and I eventually came to the realization that I had a string of toilet paper flapping behind me out of the rear of my pants. It was so long, it was dragging on the ground behind me. Now, everybody kind of worries about the toilet paper on the shoe. This dude had the toilet paper coming out of the back of the pants. And also, he says that I came to the realization, come on, coworkers, do your guy a solid and go, hey, Spencer, you're dragging around a wedding dress length train of toilet paper, man. Nobody told the guy. They're laughing at him. They're whispering. So, that's embarrassing. Next. This is the thing that would happen to me. I always try to say, which of these has got the best chance? I could see the toilet paper thing happening, but this one more so. When we had the littles, Joe, you remember when our 3 kids were little. So David says from Wisconsin, he says, I worked as a graphic designer at a travel company. And when my daughter was just a few months old, we started putting her in her little gizmo where she could sit up and we could interact with her. So thinking it would be fun, I stuck a suction cup toy in the middle of my forehead and bent over near my daughter, who loved it, and then grabbed the toy and pulled on it. I had a perfect circle imprinted right in the middle of my forehead because when she pulled the toy, the suction pulled all the blood to the surface of my skin, leaving a hickey in the middle of my forehead. And perfectly circular, which makes that even more funny. The dress code at this place was shirt and tie. No hats allowed. So for 2 weeks, I had to walk around the office with a 1-inch circumference hickey on my head, and I couldn't cover it up. Every time I had a conversation at work, the other person laughed at me. Wow. See, at that point, I think you kind of like print out a sign and you put it around your neck.
No, that's when your wife...
Because you've already got the hickey right in the middle of the head, and everybody notices.
Your wife does you a solid and puts a little makeup on it to cover it up.
Now, okay, so we wear stage makeup from time to time. I don't know, Madison, that amount of makeup can cover a hickey, can it?
You'll definitely know that they're wearing makeup.
Yeah, see, there's the trade-off. You might be able to dull the hickey, but now all of a sudden, there's more questions. Why is David wearing cake batter makeup? All right. Boy, this is my personal favorite here. Carly from Sacramento said my coworker's wife and kids visited the office one day. After they left, I turned and looked at him and said, I want to have your babies. What? What? I'm sorry? I meant to say that I wanted to babysit them, but it came out completely wrong. You think? I want to have your babies. I'm sorry? What? Could you imagine? How many shades of red would you turn, Madison? And let me ask you, because this is funny, because you have done some babysitting in your time. What would you, if you say that and you mean I want to babysit your kids, and you go, I want to have your babies, what happens to you in that moment? Do you crawl under the carpet?
Oh, I am going to be sick for the next week. You won't see me. I might just resign right then, right there.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say. Depending on the quality, if that's an entry-level job, I think you have to quit.
Yep, I'm out. Bye.
Speaking of quitting, this is submitted by Anonymous because this is pretty bad. After repeated errors and repeated retraining, I had determined to part ways with an employee who was not quite up to the task assigned to her. I emailed HR explaining the situation and requested they send me the specific process of terminating her employment. She had a very unique spelling of her first name. So I used Outlook to find out how to spell her name correctly, and I forgot to take her off of the email. So when I emailed HR to say that I needed to know how to fire her, she got the email. She quit by the end of the day. So hold on a second. This bears some discussion. Have any of you all ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David on HBO? Have you guys ever seen this? Okay. So there's an episode where Larry David comes up with this idea, and he calls it the accidental on purpose text. And so basically he gets in hot water with his wife, right? She wants to go shopping or do something husband-wifey, and he basically says, I've already decided to play golf with my buddy. And she gets mad about it. So he cooks up this idea, and I won't explain anymore, where he sends a text to his wife, okay, on purpose, but it's a text that's supposed to be to his buddy saying, I feel really awful and I hate to do this, but I feel like, I really want to, and it's the accidental on purpose text, to which his wife gets a text and goes, hey, I think you meant this for David, but thank you. That's so sweet. And the whole thing is a ruse, right? So all I'm saying is this is a potential technique that I cannot endorse, but it's the old, oops, I didn't mean to include you on the email to HR that I was going to fire you. And so the person quits, thereby relieving the unfortunate, tense conversation that no leader likes to have. What are your thoughts on this?
What are you thinking if you're the person who gets that text? Hey, it's not going to work out with Ken.
Yeah, well, you quit.
Yeah, I know, but are you not just like your emotions? Oh my gosh.
Oh, devastated. It's there's no warm up. Like if your boss says to you, hey, listen, we need to have a conversation. We need to talk. The dreaded we need to talk. Like that goes back to like middle school when you start having a girlfriend or whatever. Hey, we need to talk. Has there ever in the history of the world been anything good on the end of that sentence?
Not one time.
Never. But here's what happens. If you do that, the person goes, oh gosh, I wonder if I'm going to get fired. There's a little bit of a warning, right? It's like, even though that's awful to deal with that anxiety, it's better than bam. She gets that email and goes, what? And she quit. But yeah, you feel terrible. All right, one more here. By the way, this is straight from the news. This is fantastic. Is there an image of this, Madison?
I don't think there's an image of it.
I don't think anybody got a picture of this because this would have been all over.
Amazing.
Folks, this is straight out of the news. You talk about a work fail, but this is I don't give a crap. That's what this is. And this is high level, folks. Have you heard this, Joe? You've seen this?
No.
Oh, you're going to really appreciate this. CBS News president Susan Zirinsky stepped down just a couple days ago after a corporate meeting in which she wrote on a piece of paper, I hate my job, and held it over her head. Joe, like she's in a meeting, a CBS, like bunch of people, a budget meeting. And she writes, I hate my job on the paper and just holds it up in the room for everybody in the room. Could you imagine the tension in that room?
No.
She's not a VP. She's the lead dog.
And wow.
It was a corporate budget meeting that dragged on. And at one point she wrote, I hate my job, and held it over her head in protest. Well, you don't hate it anymore. Gone. Just absolutely gone. And by the way, this is a great illustration no matter how big of a deal you are. CBS News president. And by the way, she's not making $250,000 a year, Joe. All right? We're talking millions of dollars a year. big time success, prestige, the bank account, all the things. And she's like, I literally, if I have to hear one more syllable about budgets, I'm going to stick my head in an oven. And she's like, I can't do it anymore. That was a release. That's a person who is truly at the end of the rope. So folks, we're having some fun today, but in all seriousness, this is why success is not enough. Talent's not enough. You have to have the talent. That's huge. She had it. But you got to love the work. That's passion. And that work's got to create results that matter deeply to you, mission. And I'm telling you, she's sitting there going, I don't love this work, and I am not producing results that I want to produce anymore, and I am losing it. And I'm going to act like a 8-year-old. And boom, done. Now, here's the deal. What we don't know is the rest of the story. Was she pushed out by the board? Because that's a bad look. Like, I don't think you come back from that when you're the president of an organization. It's kind of like, oh, okay. Hopefully she got a real nice severance, Joe. So there you go.